It's a stormy night in mid-Missouri. We have tornado watches and severe thunderstorm warnings. That's coming up.
Police search for 3 teenagers. We'll tell you how this story ends.
And a dog house is raising money for dog homes. KOMU 8 News at 10 starts now.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News at 10.
Well, right now, most of mid-Missouri is either getting drenched or will soon be drenched. Good evening. I'm Angie Bailey.
And I'm Olivia Wilmson. We're going to head over right to Dave with the latest on this storm. Dave.
Olivia, thanks very much. We just came out of some tornado warnings for the western part of our viewing area. Now we've got a few severe thunderstorm warnings to talk about, but what you're looking at now is the severe thunderstorm watch boxes that have been posted for the counties off to our west and to our north and just a bit to our east. Most of those will go on the way. That's coming up in my forecast here in a few minutes on KOMU 8 News at 10.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave. Also, just in this afternoon, a hike in a park turned into a search and rescue for 3 area teenage boys.
Those 3 boys went on a hike at Finger Lake State Park with a larger group but got separated. The boys tried finding their way out for an hour but eventually called 911. Boone County Fire Department responded to the call around 4 this afternoon. The fire department used a tracking device to get a general location of the boys, and then had to find the boys to scream to find their exact location. Authorities say those boys should have been better prepared.
The boys were not prepared for the environment that they were walking in. Again, it gets pretty thick in the area that they were at, so a couple of them had some scrapes and stuff from the thorns and the brush that they were walking through. They also did not have a map of the area, nor did they have water with them.
The fire department found the 3 teenagers about an hour after receiving the call. When hiking, police recommend wearing appropriate clothing, bringing water, and a map or GPS.
Mid-Missouri's Barkitecture kicked off today, the very first one. Local architects, designers, contractors, and students competing to see who can make the best doghouse. The 7 competitors had no restrictions other than the height and the width. At the end of the week, bidders vote on those doghouses. One of the competitors says his goal was to make his doghouse eco-friendly.
It's using recycled building materials. These have been building materials that have been on job sites that haven't been used by contractors. Some of these materials have actually been built into other structures and then disassembled and put into this structure.
Now to vote, you can visit the links and numbers section on our website, that's KOMU.com, or go to the Boone County Courthouse where those doghouses will be on display all week. Money raised through Barkitecture benefits the Central Missouri Humane Society.
Pretty cool. Also, just in, 15 families in the Lake of the Ozarks are looking for homes tonight after a fire destroyed their homes.
Another fire in Booneville left a family of 7 homeless as well. The Red Cross is helping all of those families tonight.
A Missouri lawmaker wants to make convicted criminals pay the cost of their own prosecution and police investigation. The lawmaker argues it's a way to save money for cash-strapped cities and counties. The legislation would put a $300 cap on the cost for misdemeanor convictions and a $750 limit on felony cases. But prosecutors could ask for more by submitting supporting documentation to the judge presiding over the case. Convicted defendants would be required to pay the investigation costs regardless of their financial condition, or they could face additional jail time. One Missouri police chief said that a small number of people commit a large portion of the crime in most jurisdictions and therefore should pay most of the bill.
Well, a Missouri Senate committee will release a proposed redistricting map tomorrow after a Republican-led State House committee released one last week that would reconfigure Missouri's 9 existing U.S. House districts. The new districts were based on the results of the 2010 census, and the consolidation is necessary because of Missouri's population. It grew more slowly than the nation's. Missouri's making it easier for people to find its historic Civil War sites. The Missouri Civil War Sesquicentennial Commission will be making available highway signs to point out some of the historic sites. Civil War Commission members say the sign program will unify the state's historic sites from the Civil War.
Congress is fighting down to the wire on a 2011 budget with a government shutdown possible. The deadline is on midnight at Friday. If lawmakers don't reach an agreement, hundreds of thousands of federal workers and contractors won't get paid.
Offices, museums, and non-emergency services grind to a halt at that point. President Obama says it could hurt the economy. And both parties say each is fighting to avoid a scenario that won't play well with voters. Brian Moore has the story from Washington.
President Obama and House Speaker John Cutts certain to set off another budget battle after this one's finished.
Now, if Congress doesn't agree to the budget, it could agree to an extension, and that would be a 7th extension.
The job numbers come out tomorrow. How hopeful will they be?
And a popular pope is remembered. You're watching KOMU 8 News at 10.
And here's a live look over Fulton. Well, that's KOMU 8 News coverage you can count on at 10.
In news from across the nation, a passenger on a stricken Southwest Airlines flight took pictures during an unfortunate event. It captures the tense moments when a hole opened up in the roof of the cabin. After the roof peeled open, passengers used tape to try and secure a panel over that hole. Scary stuff. The cabin lost pressure and passengers put on oxygen masks, though the plane did land safely at a military base in Arizona. Meanwhile, a cup of coffee turns terribly wrong for a 92-year-old woman on her birthday. Ruth Tech was drinking coffee in the dining room of the nursing home she lived as a car smashed through the wall on Thursday. The 84-year-old driver was coming to the nursing home to visit his wife. After getting treatment, he was admitted to the nursing home. Meanwhile, the victim, Ruth Tech, died on her 92nd birthday. More news from around the nation. One man was killed and another injured in a bizarre accident on a tour bus Saturday night. Massachusetts State Police say the men fell out of the bathroom window onto the highway from the moving bus. They don't know if they were fighting or if horseplay was involved. The bus was returning from a tour of the Red Hook Brewery in New Hampshire, and police say alcohol was probably a factor in the incident.
Looking around the world now, a protest against a Florida church burning the Quran turned violent today in Kandahar, Afghanistan. Protesters clashed with police in southern Afghanistan's main city, and someone was shot and killed one officer. The burning of Islam's holy book has sparked outrage across Afghanistan and around the world. Hundreds of people in Kandahar held copies of the Quran over their heads yesterday during a demonstration. At least 30 people are dead after two suicide bombers attacked a shrine today in central Pakistan. Several thousand people were attending celebrations to mark the anniversary of the shrine in Punjab province when the suicide bombers struck. A government official said they attacked crowds of people outside the shrine. Pope Benedict today remembered the 6th anniversary of the death of his predecessor, John Paul II. Pope John Paul's reign was one of the most tumultuous of modern times and saw the collapse of communism across Eastern Europe, starting in his native Poland. Pope Benedict marked the anniversary today before a crowd of the faithful who gathered in St. Peter's Square to listen to his weekly address. The beatification of John Paul II will be celebrated at the Vatican on May 1st.
And coming up, it looks like more stormy weather heading into mid-Missouri during the overnight hours. We'll keep you completely posted where they are and when they may affect us. Next on KOMU 8 News at 10.
Coming up on the KOMU 8 Sports Show, while the Mizzou basketball team waits for a new coach, the Tiger football team looks for its next starting quarterback. Coming up on the KOMU 8 Sports Show.
Now, your live Doppler 8 First Alert weather with Chief Weathercaster Dave Schmidt.
And good evening to you. There's a look at our First Alert weather cam over our now placid view of Columbia. It's still a bit breezy out there as you take a look at the wide shot of the Columbia area. Here's a look at live Doppler 8 First Alert radar, and we've just got a new batch of warnings in. All these counties are warned until 10:45 this evening. That would be Sheraton, Saline, Pettis, Howard, and Cooper counties, all in the western half of our KOMU 8 viewing area. Sheraton, Pettis, and Saline counties.
It was an active night, or still is, I suppose, out there.
It's a busy one.
That's what he got you here for. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
A local company delivers without any help.
And the latest job numbers come out. We'll find out if you have been created. That's up next on KOMU 8 News at 10. But first, here are your lottery numbers. Good luck.
Well, I hope you had a great warm weekend. We're going to be back tomorrow. I'm alone right now, but I won't be alone tomorrow morning at 4:30. We're doing news, weather, sports, of course, everything that we want to talk about on Facebook. Always a great topic. Join us at 4:30.
So McDonald's delivered, and it's not a new service of the global corporation.
It's the work of a much smaller company right here in Columbia, and they do much more than just bring you your Happy Meal. KOMU 8's Blake Hansen has that story and more on this 8 on Your Money report. Blake?
Angie and Olivia, this small company, just 4 employees right now, is braving Columbia without a small business loan. Its owner says it doesn't need one, partially because of the uniqueness of the city of Columbia, but he also attributes it to a small and growing base of customers.
Yeah, I like the cab to take me to church. Chicken.
For Joe Johnson, the everyday errand isn't easy.
I never knew one day I was going to have a limb missing.
Johnson lost his leg years ago in a gang assault in St. Louis, making the simplest tasks like getting groceries difficult. But a new set of wheels is bridging the gap.
We will go to the store and pick up pretty much anything you need.
Bill Spires started anything delivery in January.
One night I didn't want to get out. And I said, wouldn't it be great if I could just call somebody and be able to get something? And that's basically how it started.
Since opening, customers keep calling in.
We get about 10 to 15 a day. So we're shooting to have 54 is our first goal. We'd like to get that within 3 months and then kind of go from there.
It's Spires' second business startup. Both began with no small business loan.
Thank you very much.
Columbia is a big enough town to support it. You know, where starting it in a small town, you have big goals with trying to get enough people, you know, or having enough people there that need it, whereas a town like this is diversified enough.
But Spires is one of few who hasn't followed the small business loan trend here in Columbia. According to the Small Business Administration, or SBA, financial institutions in Boone County gave out just under $10 million worth in loans in 2008. Then in 2009, that number dropped to just under $6 million. But in 2010, the number skyrocketed to more than $20 million. The company's first regular says anything delivery is making life a bit more normal.
It's marvelous, outstanding. Because hadn't I had this business to look out for, I feel like I'm a chosen person. I feel like I'm blessed.
Anything Delivery has a website, too, where you can place orders. We posted a link to it on our website, KOMU.com. Just click on the story, New Company Offers Unique Service. Analysts are calling this week's job report stronger than expected. Nationwide, the government reports a net 216,000 jobs added in March. Unemployment fell to 8.8%. It's the second month in a row that U.S. added jobs. U.S. stocks rose moderately after that report. The Dow Jones climbed 56 points. S&P 500 added 6.5 points. Meanwhile, the NASDAQ composite rose by 8.5 points. The results of the 21st Annual National Airline Quality Ratings, or AQR, come out tomorrow morning. That data comes just days after a chilling incident on a Southwest flight. Flight 812 to Sacramento from Phoenix had just reached cruising altitude when a large section of the plane's roof panel tore open. Pilots made an emergency landing at a military base. No one was hurt. Southwest canceled at least 300 flights Saturday while the airline investigated that incident. Now, the AQR studies the performance and quality of the nation's 16 largest airlines, including Southwest. That rating gives the business community and media a better idea of where future consumer trends may lead. I'm Blake Hansen. That's an 8 on Your Money report.
Coming up on the KOMU 8 Sports Show, the Mizzou softball team actually had a losing streak. See if it could get back in the win column. All this and much more coming up on the KOMU 8 Sports Show.
Once again, a look at live Doppler 8 First Alert radar. A line of storms affecting Macon and moving into Huntsville. We still have warnings now for Sheraton, Patterson, Saline counties, plus Howard and Cooper County for another 15 minutes or so till 10:45.
Well, Thriller was unveiled today in London. Mohammed Al Fayed unveiled a statue of the late Michael Jackson in southwest London. The statue is located outside the Fulham Football Club's Craven Cottage Stadium. The former boss of Harrods and Jackson were close friends for several years. Mohammed Al Fayed described the singer as the world's finest performer. Jackson visited the stadium as Al Fayed's guest back in April of 1999.
Pretty cool statue.
Talking about football there, a little different though. That's soccer football. We're going to be talking about football here in the studio with Chris Rubino talking quarterbacks. So the sports show is coming up now.
Angie, you're absolutely right as usual. Thank you. Hello, everyone. After having a winning streak snap, the Mizzou softball team